A reading from the first epistle of St. Peter. Dearly beloved, the ancients therefore that are among you, I beseech, who am myself also an ancient, and a witness of the sufferings of Christ, as also a partaker of that glory which is to be revealed in time to come. Feed the flock of God which is among you, taking care of it, not by constraint, but willingly, according to God, not for filthy lucre's sake, but voluntarily, neither as lording it over the clergy, but being made a pattern of the flock from the heart. And when the Prince of Pastors shall appear, you shall receive a never-fading crown of glory. But the God of all grace, who hath called us unto his eternal glory in Christ Jesus, after you have suffered a little, will himself perfect you, and confirm you, and establish you. To him be glory and empire forever and ever. Amen. Please stand for the reading of the Gospel. Continuation of the Holy Gospel according to St. Matthew. At that time, Jesus came into the quarters of Caesarea Philippi, and he asked his disciples, saying, Whom do men say that the Son of Man is? They said, Some, John the Baptist, and others, some, Elias, and others, Jeremiah, or one of the prophets. Jesus saith to them, But whom do you say that I am? Simon Peter answered and said, Thou art Christ, the Son of the living God. And Jesus answering said to him, Blessed art thou, Simon Bar-Jonah, because flesh and blood hath not revealed it to thee, but my Father who is in heaven. And I say to thee, that thou art Peter, and upon this rock I will build my church, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it. And to thee I will give the keys of the kingdom of heaven. And whatsoever thou shalt bind upon earth, it shall be bound also in heaven. And whatsoever thou shalt loose on earth, it shall be loosed also in heaven. Please be seated. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Ghost. You want to hear a story? I was a pretty good student growing up, but not in math. I'm a humanities major. I like letters, I like words. I don't like to mix my letters and my numbers. And in middle school, the bane of my existence was word problems. Remember those? John is 6 feet tall. Mary is 5 feet tall. How old is the gorilla? You say, wait, what? And I'd always put my head, oh God, don't let them pick me, don't let them pick me. I was never the one to say, I know this one, pick me, pick me. Well, those who love the Holy Mass, those who love the one church Christ founded, when we hear our Lord ask, who do you say that I am? I think we'd be very much inclined to say, oh, I know this one, pick me. And we could refer to the proper scriptures and the creeds and the councils and the catechisms and the statements of the fathers and the commentaries of the Summa and go through all the dogmas and doctrines. And that would be a very fine, very salutary thing. And please God, may more be able to do that and willing to do so. But that's not what I want to focus on today. We might also ask, how do we say who the Son of Man is? And please God, we do that with clarity and charity and fervor and persistence. And that's a very salutary thing. That's not what I want to talk about today. I want to ask a different question. A question that might not have been on your mind until recently. The question is this: why? Why tell anyone that Jesus of Nazareth is not only Son of Mary, but Son of God? Why say that the Son of Man is the Christ of God? Well, you might answer, well, Father, we should say it because it's true. And that's right. But if we simply stated truth, that doesn't always work. I would always warn my students against the rationalist fallacy that goes something like this. If I only say the truth clearly enough, people will understand and agree. We know that's a trail of tears that hardly ever works. So yes, we can proclaim that the Son of Man is the Christ of God, the Son of Mary is the Son of God. We say it because it's true. But why else? Well, we could say, so that God may be glorified. glory of God, Adorare Dei Gloria. Well, sign me up. I'm a Jesuit. I love talking that way. But some folks, at least partly rightly, might say, Father, that whole glory of God thing, that doxology, that can be kind of vague, kind of abstract. And, if we're going to be incarnate, let's ask, why should we proclaim that the Son of Man, the Son of Mary, is the Christ of God, the second person of the Blessed Trinity, the Word made flesh? Let's go back a little bit into history, go back to St. Irenaeus. St. Irenaeus said the glory of God is man fully alive. So I'm going to show my cards right now. We must proclaim the Christ, or man can never be fully alive. Human creatures cannot become everything that our Creator intends us to be unless we proclaim and know and love the Christ of God, and then act accordingly in relation to our neighbor through justice and charity, and relation to God through worthy worship. What does that begin to look like? Let's go back to the fall of Rome. Many people thought that the world was coming to an end. Who could blame them? Everything that had been taken for granted was beginning to crumble. The institutions were falling, and looked like the rule of law was about to become the rule of the jungle. The barbarians were coming, and people were going hungry, and the lights were going down. Kind of sounds familiar, doesn't it? Except for the Christians. The Christians did not flee the sick. The Christians did not leave the dead in the street. The Christians served. The Christians bore witness. And unlike the barbarians, the Christians didn't cannibalize each other. The Christians didn't murder their young. The Christians stayed and served and bore witness, and they ended up building libraries rather than burning them. They ended up building churches rather than destroying temples. They taught rather than ravaged. And over time, on the smoldering wreckage of Rome and Europe, Christian civilization, which is the foundation of all civilization worthy of the name, was built. Because Christians knew the Christ and loved the Christ and knew that it was urgent to tell the Christ in every circumstance, through every discipline, through every good work. And so across oceans and across centuries, Christians lived and died to make Christ known and loved. And the light of reason did not go out, and the light of faith did not go out, because Christians knew that they would fail unless they persisted and even willing to die trying to make Christ known and loved. Well, what about us? What is true for Christians then is true for Christians now. We have a profound obligation and a high privilege and calling to proclaim the Christ, that the Son of Mary, Jesus of Nazareth, the Son of Man, the Christ of God, the only begotten Son of the Father, the second person of the Blessed Trinity, the Word made flesh, the Savior of the world. And in this dark, strange, and confusing time, that mission has not stopped. Well, now what? What do we do? What do we need to do? I will ask you today, for every day this week, to pray for 3 graces, 3 special blessings: to get holy, to get smart, and to get busy. To get holy, what's that? Very simple. Working from the inside out. Conversion, study, and love. Easy to remember. Get smart. In what way? Know what's going on in the world. Don't become addicted to the feed, because then you'll be manipulated. But know what's going on in the world. And then find out, what is your family need? What is your neighbor need? And then act accordingly. In light of what's going on in the world, learn how to meet the needs of your family and your neighbor. And who knows, maybe after this time of crisis has subsided, and it will, we'll discover that it's better for our home to be more a place of production rather than a place of consumption, not only of physical material, but of culture and faith as well. And finally, to get busy, what does it look like? Act on what you believe, act on what you know, and act on what you hope. And what we hope for, what we strive for, is that in proclaiming the Christ, in worshiping God worthily, and serving our neighbor in justice and charity for the love of God, we ourselves will become Christ-like. We will become fully alive. We will be conformed to Christ and his cross and his resurrection, so that the threshold of eternity, our Creator and our Lord and our Lady